We took the gremlins out of the computer, took them out back, and gave them a quick bullet to the head. We're getting ready to go into our second game of the day, Lucent versus Enclave. Problems are sorted. Getting into pick and bans. Let's see what these teams are going to take away.
Yeah, let's see how standard a draft or unstandard a draft we get now. Caster span, I'll talk about this. This is a Wilhelm special, I promise you. Skumond is a bit of a Nuno OTP, if I recall my research correctly, so that's why you're seeing that respect ban come out now. From here, I expect relatively normal-ish bans. Karma is a champion that's constantly fluctuating in priority for certain teams. This could just be a case of wanting to remove away that option really for Lucent. And Ezreal is a champion I think on 11.11 is pretty strong just because of, you know, the Divine Thunder buffs and just in general, Manamune still a really good item. And he can provide a lot, especially in these metas where it's very dive heavy. He can also be, you know, he's got his own self pill, and it's not like, you know, he's completely left out of these dive comps because of his own range too.
Yeah, well, sorry, I had the Seraphine pickup as the first pickup here for the side of Enclave, and there's honestly quite a fair amount open. The Udyr is open, the Lee Sin is open,
Ooh.
Senna is apparently open. What do we make of this pick?
Yeah, Senna Cho'Gath. Okay, right. So Lucent have obviously come out here with a game plan. Now, Senna received a bunch of interesting changes over the sort of course of the last couple of patches. If you're watching MSI, you would have noticed she was near omnipresent, either pick or ban, throughout, especially a lot of the early stages of the tournament. Now, I know that her passive stacks have definitely been nerfed. It now takes 25 stacks as opposed to 20 to get to each bonus. But they also buffed a lot of her AP ratios to try and provide a little more viability to, you know, I suppose sort of like the Moonstone-esque type builds. So I'll be curious to see what we do get, because I still definitely believe, you know, going AD Senna just makes the most sense. Or going AD builds of Senna with fasting, of course, being an option. For Enclave, though, when you've got Seraphine first pick and Udyr still there, you're going to take it. And a long Azir hover, just because Sykes is, of course, the Azir wizard. But we are just going to be seeing the Kai'Sa come in here. So very much a comfort pick for Impulse, and very much a very strong champion nonetheless. Interested to see how it's going to be piloted, however, into what is likely going to be Senna Cho'Gath. But of course, Lucent having red side, there's a lot of flexibility there.
Well, the next pickup is going to be the Kai'Sa and the Volibear as we move into ban phase 2. So far, this has not been the most standard of drafts. So obviously, that Volibear is flexible between the jungle and the top lane. So we'll see exactly who's going to be piloting that one. Obviously, you got that Cho'Gath, which can go top. It could go in the bot lane with the Senna as well. So Lucent kind of keeping their comps fairly flexible at the moment. There's a little bit of movability they've got with them. Enclave, they got a little bit of that with obviously the Seraphine being able to go either mid or bot, but typically we've been seeing it when the AD carry has been picked up going in the mid lane. We have seen a Seraphine support over in the NLC, and that was the only time we actually saw the Seraphine. No, we saw Deadly play it as well bot lane, so
yeah.
I mean, we've had a little bit of variance on where the Seraphine can go, but kind of for now taking away more of these kind of meta picks, and the Leona getting banned away, and then the Set getting banned away from the side of Enclave.
I like that Set ban too, just because, you know, if Lucent were to go into the option of Set on R4, then all of a sudden you're dealing with a 3-way flex still as well. So it just alleviates a little more of that flex pressure now. Support bans, Leona and Nautilus coming out from Lucent, I think, you know, just trying to remove away the engage options here. That Enclave can also look to pair up with the Kai'Sa, and Nautilus Kai'Sa, Leona Kai'Sa, pretty much the bot lane duo of MSI. Pretty much consistently picked up. And Tom Kench still. So Enclave not sold that this Cho'Gath is actually going pop potentially, or they just want to keep the options to flex as low as possible. Now, one thing that's definitely slipped through, which I could potentially see Enclave picking up after this Lucent R4 pick, is the Nocturne. I feel like they might be going for a bit of a dive composition. Lucent, on the other hand, though, they're going to lock in the Corki, so going for a little more sort of stable scaling on their end.
All right, over to the side of Enclave now, as we see what they're going to look to try and round their comp out with. Obviously, now with that Corki getting picked up, things are slowly coming together in what is going where.
I would love to see something like Nocturne Rakan come out for the last rotation here.
Yeah, that'd be lovely, actually.
Seraphine can just slot into the Corki lane pretty safely. and you'd be giving yourself engage on the bottom side. For now, they're just going to lock in the Alistar. It still does the same thing in that 2v2 anyway. Just a little less flexibility on the engages, a little more reliant potentially on some flanks for the Alistar. And now pick for the top lane of Enclave, Infor. See what he's willing to pick up here. Most likely blind. It shouldn't be the Cho'Gath top. We'll have to see what the option is as... Oh, wow. Hover. I want to see that locked in Gangplank.
That's
okay.
Nice.
Yeah, we don't
This
often...
feels semi-traditional in the way this team has been drafted here. And honestly, even without this 5th pick, I'm actually really favoring what Enclave has. It feels like there is a bit more early priority here. Lucent, when you've got a Corki, you've got a Senna, you want time. You want to get some items, you want to get some scaling, and kind of hate to hark back and kind of be a broken record, but we've hit on it so many times. But the current meta is play fast and loose, play aggressive, and Enclave's team so far looks like a team that was able to do that. Lucent have got themselves a very traditional front to back team comp here, and a couple of patches ago I'd be like, that's an amazing team comp. And if they can survive kind of 20 minutes without giving too much over, then I think this game will slowly start to move in Lucent's favor. But I think they are very reliant on a couple of item spikes coming in, getting some free time. And if Enclave starts to snowball and rapidly play this game like we have seen previously, stacking the early dragons and turning those into the souls, and you've got the Rift Heralds for those early plates and injecting lots of gold into the likes of Impulse and Infor, this game could get really, really tough for Lucent. So technically Enclave have scaling, but I also think they have a lot of early priority to play around. I don't know if Lucent have that.
Yeah, I feel kind of the same way. I think both of these team comps scale to the moon, really.
Yeah.
Volibear is kind of like the only champion in the entire game that feels out of place amongst the rest of the champions here. But I think Lucent, likely to play around the bottom side. GP into Ornn is a lane where GP kind of, I won't say necessarily gets to bully out the Ornn, because Ornn is, he's a bit of everything: assassin, bruiser, burst mage, yada yada yada. You know the meme. But on the bottom side for Lucent, they've got a lot of CC, they've got a lot of lockdown potential. And looking over to my other feed screen, Impulse isn't running cleanse. So if he gets hit by, a root from Senna, or he just gets knocked up by the Rupture, he's going to die, because he's just going to get CC chained to death. So I'm expecting Lucent's game plan to be heavily focused around the bottom side. And for Enclave, multiple avenues to attack. I mean, they can still play around the bottom side if they want. I don't think their skirmishing is necessarily going to be weaker or stronger until level 3. I think it's going to be more about execution, who strikes first. Really, and if they want to play into this GP, give him a lot more room to breathe, then I feel like, he certainly can have a lot of impact. But I think against some of the range that Lucent have to offer, Gangplank in the later stages is going to be very reliant on hitting, free barrel chains into just like big elements.
We did see a GP over in the NLC as well, and they were leaning more towards the Triforce build. Which I found quite bizarre, because me and you have had many lengthy discussions about how we hate Triforce on GP.
Well, okay.
You still hate it?
So
at the time you did, and you.
For anyone who doesn't know, you're sitting in with 2 Gangplank. You're in the Gangplank fan club right now.
I'm absolutely in the Gangplank fan club. I love that chap.
I've grown a little more on the Triforce Gangplank builds. I think that things like, for example, in this game, Triforce into Ravenous Hydra would probably be pretty good on the side lane, because it gives you a lot of sustain in, just once you hit that sort of level 11/15 minute post mark where you're going to be meeting Ornn in the side lane. It means that you can trade HP a lot more freely, and eventually you're just going to wear Ornn down, and Ornn has to go back to base on the side lane, and it can buy you a little bit more time if he's opening himself up to those trades. I think if the composition from Lucent was a little squishier, then things like, even if you want to stick to the Triforce, but going into crit items after that could definitely be good. Of course, Essence Reaver, Shield Bow, Essence Reaver, Duskblade, Collector, all of those kind of build paths very viable for GP. But honestly, I would love to see the Triforce plus a Ravenous Hydra build this time around.
Alrighty, well, it looks like for a moment that was a very long loading screen, and that always gives me quite panicked. But
someone on a toaster, we're still online, so I think
so it looks like we're all fine. I haven't seen any disconnects, so looks like the Gremlins are well and truly dead. Won't be too long. We'll be getting into our second game of the day. Thank you for sticking with us through all the technical problems. I know it is a pain in the bottom when you're watching League of Legends, and it's just the casters looking at your face. But we're on to the Rift for Enclave versus Lucent. Lucent, obviously a new face here at the UKLC, and they got a bunch of new names, some of which we haven't seen at all. Actually, all of which we haven't seen at all. I've got a few returning members on the side of Enclave and the side of Sykes and Impulse. See if these old dogs can show the new newbies what's good.
Yeah, definitely so. Sujin also a renamed player. I think he was part of one of the teams in one of the past splits that actually made it up to the promotion relegation tournament. I can't quite recall whether that team or organization did actually make it into the UKLC, but has had a fairly successful time in the UKL in splits past. So excited to see how he will deal here. And Info also a player, I believe, recently on Viperio, I would like to say. So a lot of UKL talent, or previous UKL talent actually in this game. Kind of on both sides, you think about it. Rightly, of course, played on the Super roster in summer of last year, in for Viperio previously. Sykes definitely was in the UKL, but I can't remember what roster for the life of me. So it's nice to see that ecosystem of things working out and pushing players up into the UKLC.
Yeah, it is nice when you don't just kind of see our 3 leagues we've got and just everyone's sailing out in their individual league. Nice to see the growth and kind of some players making their way up. Obviously, there's only so many spots, so some players obviously do have to play a little bit more. But I think there's, it's not just about the orgs proving themselves this time around. I think there's a lot of new players who have to prove themselves. As Impulse, gonna lose out on that trade. As actually, Little Pants didn't go too well, but he's obviously got some sustain in his kit.
Yeah, that's one of the things that slowly becomes very obnoxious about this Senna Cho'Gath lane, is the amount of sustain that they have between them. Of course, Cho'Gath in his passive, Little Pants, or Senna rather, in the Q. I think is it Piercing Light, or is that Lucian's one?
Piercing Light is Lucian's. It's the Piercing Darkness, I think, or Piercing Shadow or something.
It's something along those lines.
It's something edgy. It's Lucian, but edgy.
Yeah, exactly. So it will get very hard for Impulse and Rightly to sort of whittle down at the health bars here. They're going to have to go for an all-in. Little Pants has to misstep, and they just sort of get a nice combination with him. For now, though, both junglers mirroring clears, albeit Scumon obviously a little faster, so he's able to actually not skip camps. He's going to go for the full clear. Wilhelm, however, going for a slightly more aggressive pathing. Actually, looks like he was planning to maybe meet Scumon on the top side here on his camp. But for now, just going to be waiting out on the Skull Crab. Doesn't have priority in the top side, but I don't think Enclave really have much business with the top side Skull anyway. I don't really care much about it.
He's been sitting on a ward now, so he's giving himself up. Does mean that Scumon able to take this crab for free. And I saw him recalling. I was like, "You're not gonna go contest the bottom crab. You're not gonna go do that because
that would be.
You don't have prio in any of your lanes right now."
Yeah, no, just gonna return to farming, but already Scumon, just because of the jungle matchup, has a pretty large tempo advantage. He's already going to be able to reset, return back to his top side. Now, we are on 11.11, where the jungle camp respawn timers have been increased slightly. I think it was actually 11.10 that jungle change came in. So jungle camp...
Not sure if Jamada's DC'd or not, actually, or if that's just on my end. So I'll keep talking while I wait for him to get himself sorted out. But now we are seeing. Oh,
I think
you DC'd, bro.
To the void. Yeah, I think I was lost to the void, but now I'm back. I got a freeze on all my feeds. I could still hear you fine, and I was just like, well, all right, well, that's strange, but yeah.
Oh, you've done it again. We thought we got rid of the gremlins, and that just went to Jamada's house.
I cut out Scumon. I don't know whether to keep.
You're back. I can hear you now, bro. I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm so scared. Okay, Scumon has a really large tempo advantage because he full cleared and then got Skull and reset. Wilhelm, of course, had to clear his 2 topside camps, and then had to reset after the Skull. Engage coming in, but it's just going to be a bit of a butt of heads. And these kind of trades are going to benefit Axelent and Little Pants as time goes on again. The sustain is really, really oppressive. They're going to butt heads in the jungle here right now.
I don't think Wilhelm wants this.
No, I don't think he does.
That is a level advantage jungler who has capability to deal you. Wilhelm obviously has bought those lucidity boots while Screamon has gone for a ruby crystal, so a bit more health to work with. Now, Screamon might be finding himself Excellent. Excellent is going to get himself caught out, tries to flash away. The tether comes in from Strong Panthers to get the knock up and a lot of damage into that cow. And we hit on the sustain in this Lucent bot lane. They still have that to work with. Yeah. And we're 5 minutes into the game, and honestly, we were talking about proactivity so far. Not been the most proactive game, although now Wilhelm's in the bot lane.
Yeah, and he's not on vision either. I think Wilhelm's trying to goad Enclave bot lane into an engage, but I think this is just not really going to amount to much. Got frustrated, walked out, and his recall won't even be allowed to recall there. And all the while, Screamon, I think, returned to a jungle camp, and has now returned back to the river. And I was quite surprised on that on the previous wave crash that we didn't actually see a dragon start up now. But it seems like the movement again in this bottom side river going to be for the skull. But I am, at least just by the lane priority, expecting Enclave to pick up this early dragon in the next couple of minutes, whenever they see fit.
Wilhelm actually looking to go in for a gank onto Sykes, although Sykes is just stepping back and he flashes over the wall, gets himself the maul off of the slow, and Sykes is going low. Gets him with a double snare, trying to find first blood, and that's going to be picked up. Monorobo able to run away as Screamon being chased down. And Monorobo going to shoot a rocket out. It's a double kill for the bear. And Lucent, that was a bit scrappy. That was a little bit messy, but Lucent come out on top.
Screamon just said, I don't care about my mid laner's life. I want Corki. But Corki hadn't even blown his Valkyrie yet. So he just kind of doesn't bear slap Wilhelm, walks straight past the volley bear, and kind of just lets his mid lane die. I mean, Sykes was likely to die in that play either way, but it's about the principle of it. And now... Oh!
Just about able to get it, but everybody's coming in. The cannon barrage is down, and that is a shutdown for Impulse. Lucien unable to really do too much here, although he is going on mode.
Okay. If that barrel proc landed, we could have seen the Ornhorn actually pulled out there, honestly. It would have been a lot of max HP damage laid into Infor. We're going to get a replay here of the mid lane as Wilhelm just comes in, off fog, flashes straight onto Sykes. The flash is instant, and you just see Screamon just doesn't chain see Wilhelm. No, it goes for one.
So tragic.
He just wants the 1-for-1. I think he just expects Sykes is going to be dead. And I think that could have even been the core in comms. But it's still just...
It looks funny. That cannon barrage was close. We saw that Wilhelm obviously didn't have smite when that went down as well. So that was why that was that close. But Wilhelm able to secure it with a maul, I believe. So that is the dragon and 2 kills in favor of Enclave. They did obviously lose their jungler's life in that shutdown. Was given over to Impulse. As Jamada is actually having just terrible internet issues, so
yeah,
I'm gonna carry on talking for the moment unless you think you're better.
I think I'm here. Yeah. Online sucks sometimes. I don't know much more than online at the moment, but from what I gather.
Hey, you were born in the online.
Yeah, I was born in the online era of casting. But first dragon went over to Lucent. A little bit you would feel against the run of play, given all of the early lane priority that Enclave had. Let's see if they're gonna try and keep up the pace in terms of maybe looking to contest around objectives, but I don't necessarily expect that to be the case. I think now that they've got that first dragon, they're happy to kind of wait on time. Corki, Senna, very much reliant on Iron Spikes. And when you've got an Ornn in the game, you're very happy to just let him go...
Go fishing is Wilhelm actually looking to run towards Impulse, gets himself the lockdown. They don't have that cannon barrage yet, and Wilhelm is just ripping through the hellfire. The shield comes in, he just used the Stormbreaker to jump away, trying to chase up for more. Impulse will secure that kill. That's the second one onto the Kai'Sa, and Excellent is just gonna have to run to the winds, but he is stuck on a minion and has to flash away. That was tragic.
Go the distance for that. I couldn't see any of that fight.
In summary, Wilhelm bit off more than he could chew, and Excellent got stuck on a minion. That was a rough one for him, unfortunately, and he had to burn the flash, but was able to survive. But it's now 2 kills onto Impulse on the Kai'Sa. Got a 300 gold difference between these two teams, and for me, it's we wanted to see Enclave be more proactive. It felt like they sat back a little bit more, but they are now coming back.
Yeah, they are a little bit. We'll have to sort of look towards the neutral objectives, I think, to see who exactly is going to be sort of getting the better end of some things. For now, Lucent Herald is on the menu, and I think they're just going to get it outright. I don't think there's going to be any contest here from Enclave. So the reset has come out. It just looks a little bit too late. If they were expecting to get the Herald, they're now going to find nothing in the pit. And you can even see on the minimap. Yeah, there you go. They were rotating up to the top side with the Herald call out coming down. They're just going to walk straight back to the bottom side.
Might be hunting info here.
Yeah.
They're on the pink, so they know that Wilhelm hasn't been seen. They've got that Call of the Forge god. They don't have the Stormbringer, though, from Wilhelm, so a tower dive might be a little bit risky into this will be Triforce GP. Might be seeing a flank coming in to Little Paxton Excellent. So it looks like they are just going to step away. And honestly, this kind of turn of play has favored them. Enclave a little bit too slow to the punch, and this means they got a bit of free time in the bot wave. Now they can go off and spend that money. He's still having infinite problems.
Oh god.
Oh, I love it. I don't love it.
I don't love it. Don't worry. Yeah, I think that's going to be Divine Sunderer GP. That is.
Divine Sunderer.
Yeah, I think that's the build path for it.
I think you're right.
Kindle Gem.
What am I missing on Triforce? I feel like I'm missing an item on Triforce, and I can't remember what it is. It's Divine Sunderer. He's finished it up. This is more curiosity from me at this point. Might have a little bit to wait until we can figure that out, though, because these teams are starting to look to set up around the Dragon Pit. I believe Monrobo is going to be able to pick a package up, so he'll be back on the map very quick.
The blue
has got it.
Thing.
Yeah. Oh, you're back. Sorry, I didn't hear a word you said. You're back. And he's gone. Don't worry. Solo casting today, boys. Trying to get some wave control here. Trying to get some prio in this top bottom side of in the mid lane. Sorry, as the Rift Herald is going to get placed down by Wilhelm. And Dragon's being started up. Lucent are going to go for it, and they're going to be able to pick up their second dragon of the game. Enclave unable to deal with it. They called the Call of the Forge god. Rightly going to get himself knocked up as he flashes away from the follow-up for Sujin. And Jamada's in and out of every all this play, all this action as the package gets dropped as they look to put some burst out, but the exhaust is onto Wilhelm. There's the charm only onto the big bear. The watermelon might just go pop, and that's going to be the bear jump into the skies. Here's the cannon barrage. They're looking to follow up. Rightly comes in for the flash as the Dawning Shadow is thrown out. And Lucent just about get away. I'm going to continue going as Jamada tries to figure out his problem, so you're going to have to be stuck with me, unfortunately, guys. As Impulse jumps into the face of Little Pants and Excellent, gets silenced by Excellent, but is able to make his way away to safety as they fight for the ward will go in favor of Lucent. Now, we take a moment and kind of step back and look at where we are right now. We do look at the items that are coming up. Kraken Slayer and Divine Sunderer finished for Enclave on the bot lane and the top lane. Got the Frozen Fist onto Sujin. And the bases should be coming in for this Lucent bot lane fairly soon. Little Panics is probably pretty close towards that Kraken Slayer. Still needs a little bit more gold, so might not be looking for a base quite yet. And Excellent as well hasn't quite got that Everfrost finished up. So for the moment, they're at an item disadvantage, or a power spike disadvantage here in the bot side, as Little Pants is also a level down onto Impulse, who has got that level 9 just hit here. Mid lane resets are coming in, and I think it's just going to be a bit of a moment where we go back to the farming, chill for a little bit longer, until we look for this next dragon where I expect to see the action break out, or the next Rift Herald, whenever that spawns up. I didn't quite get the timer on when the Rift Herald went down. Chem Tank comes in for Wilhelm, so he's now finished up, and we are seeing these first items getting finished up. No towers have fallen yet either. plates have obviously gone down, and the charge from the Rift Herald, which was used by Lucent, it did gain them the priority to pick up that dragon, but it didn't allow them to actually get any tower plates or any damage onto that mid lane tower. It just afforded them a bit of priority. Sykes and Screwmon were actually able to make their way in time to be able to deal with this. So this should just be okay to hold. It's just wave catching at the moment. This is normally where Jamada comes in and be smart, but you're stuck with me being an idiot. Although it looks like we might see a potential dive coming in. There are obviously teleports available to Monrobo and Sujin, as Monrobo is going to pick himself up a blue buff, and now they're just jumping into Wilhelm. We have to use a Stormbringer. Impulse has jumped onto him. Wilhelm is low. He is super low. One more Void Prop might kill him. Excellent. Jason up. They missed the knock-up, and now they've got the flank coming in. The knock-up's already gone, and Sujin is incredibly low. A great charm comes across the back line, and they've also got a Gangplank ripping through the Corki in before, trying to make a run away, as that's the railgun, that's the shielding, but Little Panks just can't land a single tether, and the health bars are blinking on the side of Enclave. Screwmon chasing, gets himself the smite, and it's a disrespect kill onto Excellent. Enclave come out on top, come out with this team fight victory, and now they are in a commanding position with a 2,000 gold lead. We'll have a look at the replay in a moment and see exactly how that went down, because it was absolutely messy fight by the blue buff there. So we do see the replay here. So it starts with Wilhelm getting caught out, and Monrobo is just completely zoned away. And we see Little Panks missing 2 tethers in a row onto key targets. And with all this abilities getting missed/dodged, the double teleports come in, and it's just they're not in position to be able to keep Zujin alive. He's able to flash the wall and get a knock up onto 2 members, but by this point, Infor has just done so much damage to the backline on his own, and he's still in such a commanding position. Little Pants continues to miss abilities, and it's just tidy up at this point. Enclave just completely run away with the team fight, and Lucent now starting to feel the pain of this scaling team comp, this team comp we talked about that needed to get these items. They got their first items, but Corki wants to get a couple items under the belt before he becomes relevant. You got the Divine Sunderer onto the GP, so it's not like he really needs to stack that crit. Curious to see what the second item is, because we did see Jamada talking about the Ravenous Hydra Triforce build. I'm not entirely familiar with the Divine Thunderer build, and I know we talked about I was a bit of a GP connoisseur with him. I genuinely haven't followed the Divine Thunderer build for a while, so we'll see what the items are going to be. Got that double longsword in the inventory, so it kind of leads towards anything right now, as Wilhelm finds himself in the same position as he was last time, but Sykes is actually going to eat a fair amount of damage from Little Panks, and Excellent with a knock-up as Dragon is spawning up. Here's the call of the Forge God. Monrobo has himself the carpet to be laid down with that package, and Infor lands himself a 4-man charge. That is huge as the knock-up comes in. They still have the package to drop, and everyone is just lined up perfectly. Monrobo gets chased up by Impulse. Shield is there from the shield bow, but they are able to take him down. But Enclave are just losing in this fight. The cannon barrage by Infor is there, but he can't line up the watermelons, can't follow up with any more damage, and Lucent, even with the low health bars, can continue the onslaught. Wilhelm's going low, and Impulse almost finds the kill. Not going to make it happen today. Wilhelm just about survives, has the honey fruit to heal back up, and Infor gonna see if he can get a cheeky barrel chain off. Maybe a little bit of additional damage here. It's just Sujin to make sure he can't get close. No cannon barrage, no ability to steal. Lucent turn the team fight back around, and they are able to pick up their 3rd dragon of this game. 19 minutes on the clock, and they are in a pretty good position right now as we go into the replay, see exactly how this started. Just a great knockout coming in, getting it onto just the one, but the charm looked big. It looked like that was the moment, but they get themselves caught up in this chokehold. Package comes down into the volley bear. Monrobo able to survive for a very long time thanks to the shield bow, and he's dealing with like 3 or 4 members while Lucent just tidy up the rest of the backline who are trying to deal with them. Infor able to survive this just about, and Wilhelm almost goes down to Impulse. If he landed that Void Seeker, there wouldn't be a jungler and maybe a potential to steal that dragon. Overall, a fantastic fight there for the side of Lucent. They're 1 away from that Mountain Soul. That's going to buy him a fair amount of additional time to work with. As Excellent trying to zone off from this tower, as Little Panks has got the back up. They actually do catch Excellent. Remember, this is AP Cho'Gath. He's not that tanky as the charm will land onto Wilhelm, but he is also able to survive this one thanks to his shielding from his Sky Splitter. As the tower will go down, and Enclave it started slow for them this game, but they are able to pick up the pace. They are able to turn it around as the Herald charge isn't even going to be necessary to take out this tower. And Lucent now starting to play a little bit on the back foot. It's very back and forth right now. The Dragons and these small skirmishes going in their favor, but some of these map play, some of these rotations coming in from Enclave, absolutely huge. Just likely will find himself a bear in the bush, and the bear will take out the big crab. That is going to be the tower defended roughly by Lucent, but a lot of damage onto that tier 2. These tier 1s in the mid lanes are going to remain up for the moment, and Infor going to be able to take out the tier 1 in the bot side. So some of that locked cash on the map has been unlocked for the side of Lucent, and we are starting to see these items stack up. It is going to be the tier map for Infor on the GP, so building towards what I assume will be that Ravenous Hydra build. You got the armor penetration crit item, which I've forgotten the name of, along with the Kraken Slayer on to Impulse, and Sykes is running with that Leandri's Torment. So not going for like the Moonstone or the more sustainy build. This is the I want to do damage Seraphine build here. And Monrobo just sitting on the buildings of that Mana Mune for the moment.
I think I'm back, guys.
Hey, he's back! God damn, I just filmed for so long.
Yeah, Jake, you're a hero. Fill me in. It seems like Lucent, they're a little bit behind, but they've got the dragon advantage. Still, I suppose, time a bit on their side.
They won 2 good team fights.
Okay.
But there's a few map rotations they're kind of falling behind on.
All right. Well, I missed out on the entirety of the early to mid-game transition, but that's okay. I mean, we spoke. You know what? I'm not going to speak about it just in case I jinx it again. But looks like we're in a lull phase. We're kind of just chilling out, farming up, scaling, taking side lane waves. Is that the game right now? It is.
I hope that was you just finishing talking and not breaking up.
Okay,
thank God. Thank God. My heart sunk. Back when I first started casting, I used to cast for Belong, and they didn't have a color caster, so I used to solo cast an entire season on my own.
Really?
Yeah. And I forgot how hard it was until that very moment, and I was like, how did I do this?
How long ago? Oh, okay. That was so I guess we'll talk about it in a second, because Dive coming forward.
Yeah, they are going to be able to survive this for now, but here's the call of the Forge God. Regularly flashes away. Impulse caught out by the tether. Monrobo able to get himself a kill onto the cows. They get the charm, they get the shutdown. This fight is incredibly scrappy. Sujin able to just about survive. No, Sykes popped him. Beautiful Q coming in.
Yeah, very nice Q on the back end there from Sykes, and Sujin actually missed the call of the Forge God hit back there. Not the most ideal timing. 2 for 2 on the grand scheme of things, but Enclave obviously win out on getting the mid lane tier 1, so a little more mid lane priority potentially to be gained with that tower being down, and the dragon spawning up in just under 45 seconds. It just pretty much means that they can try and catch these waves high and force Lucent to actually be the ones face checking into them. And when they have the GP, that can definitely be very beneficial if it means that they have to check into Fog, into these barrels, into an Encore, into an Alistar.
Well, if you saw what was up there for Monrobo, he has the package available.
Yes.
Dragon's up in 24 seconds, so expect to see the action here. And this is soul for Lucent if they can get that. It's going to be really, really big.
Yeah, even though, don't let the gold lead, or the slight gold lead, rather, that Enclave actually hold, deceive you. With the package and the fact that Corki just hit 2 items, they can definitely be in an advantageous position if Enclave step too far forward.
Optimistic by Rightly, and he's going to pay the ultimate price for it. Sujin takes him down. Wilhelm jumps forward. Here's the call of the Force guy, Sujin. Can he land it? There's the package across 3. They just found themselves Impulse. He's so low, and he's popped. Excellent. Goes nom nom nom. And down goes the Kaiser. A 2 for none in favor of Lucent. The bot lane getting a little bit too antsy to contest this, and Soul will go favor in Lucent.
There you go. That was a nice sentence, Jake. I know you're thinking about it, but yeah, that was a really just overforce, really, from Rightly. There's no need to do this. I think he was even doing it into Fog. That is insane when you're dealing with a Corki package as well. So
he's got mad cow disease.
He's got mad cow disease. And you see the package on the backside in tandem. Even though the Call of Portugal doesn't hit anyone, it's about the pressure that it creates in this scenario. Impulse just gets Sunday dinnered. There's nothing more to say about it.
Sunday dinnered.
And,
what do you have for your Sunday roast? Kaiser.
Hey man, You had a Sunday roast earlier.
I had chicken today.
Yeah, whole chicken. What else? It's the usual roast potatoes.
Yeah, it's
veggies.
like my mum is a little bit of a heathen in the sense that she only does Yorkshire puddings with beef. So
interesting choice.
I complained at her about it recently, and she decided to cook Yorkies with lamb or whatever we had. It was pork.
I haven't had Yorkshire puddings in so long.
Oh, it's the best. That does need to be changed. I like toad in the hole, by the way. Amazing meal.
Great.
I love toad in the hole.
That was, by the way, the gold graph. Practically no team has had a lead grade in around 2,500 gold. However, certainly feels like Lucent are in the driver's seat, even though they're still down about 500 at the moment. So it's just going to be all the more oppressive for Enclave to have to try and go through.
And we talked about the scaling as well of these teams. This is a team that actually do scale pretty well for Lucent, and they've been pretty proactive early. It's a very different scenario than what we've seen as of late, where it's been more about these early power games. Both of these teams have opted into some element of scaling. You got a GP, you got a Kai'Sa, you got a Seraphine on the side of Enclave, but they also felt like they had more tools to be more aggressive early, and it felt like they were a little unable to execute on that. And Lucent, they took every opportunity to take a fight on their terms, and that has paid off absolute dividends for them.
Yeah, it certainly has. And, you look at the composition as well, like you kind of said, especially around the bottom side with the volley bear, skirmishing could have been very much an option. And they ended up winning out on some of the skirmishes. You feel kind of off the back of that Skumond play where he kind of just let Sykes die and tried to go for the 1-for-1, but wasn't actually able to secure the kill for himself. And then from there, kind of snowballed a bit of an objective lead for Lucent, all things considered. So for now, Enclave, they're just going to have to be dealing with consistently catching waves, probably second into dipping into fog. Though for now, as I say that, actually trying to advance forward into the jungle here on Baron side. Elder's going to be spawning in around 3 minutes. So if this Baron isn't picked up, all of a sudden you're going to have these two massive neutral objectives, which you don't really want to give one buff away for the other, but you certainly want to be trying to pick up the Elder Dragon more than the Baron.
As we hit this 27-minute mark, the Baron setup is happening. These teams are trying to contest it. Lucent don't really have the greatest vision. You can actually see the toggle between both of the teams' vision there as they headed into the jungle. Once this control wall goes down, Enclave are well and truly in the dark.
Yeah, even their lane ward just died, so they are in almost complete darkness. Void Seeker. I'm going to scout out something, and the blue ward even dropped. It's actually a reset from Lucent, so going to give over control to Enclave for the time being. So vision going to be regained, stripped away also on Lucent's end. But again, I honestly, I think Lucent probably aren't too, scared about, any kind of engage for the time being. They're just going to wait for this Elder Dragon to spawn up. And the more time that they have, again, you've got Ornn items coming in. You've got just the fact that Corki is going to scale into this machine where once Manrobo obviously picks up, it looks like he's going to be going into this Bloodthirster. It's going to be all the more harder to kill with all the sustain that Senna can dish out and his own sustain. Enclave have to pick their targets so carefully to make sure Lucent don't really have an avenue to play these team fights.
It's just that battle of attrition, that battle of vision that we're seeing breaking out. We got 1 minute 30 until the Elder Drake comes down as well, which is also a terrifying concept for either team, really, at this point. I feel both teams have the capability to burst down that Elder. Although Lucent obviously have the soul, they have a slight advantage in that sense, just because the extra shielding and resistances that they have thanks to the soul is going to obviously help somewhat. But at the same time, if Enclave are able to steal that one away, these next team fights that have been close between the two teams become incredibly one-sided, and the ability to do Baron become even harder for the other team to try and contest them. So we're on that 30-minute mark. It's definitely been a slower pace game here than our first game of the day. It's felt bloody long, thanks to you DCing halfway through, mate.
Okay. Yeah, but I also think credit to Resolve in the previous game. I think they just played their game really quick. So it just, the contrast, the juxtaposition just makes it feel worse. When you have sort of a, 17 kill game in 30 minutes, especially in the UKLC, that is truly rookie numbers.
All right, well, look who's just been to base and finished up their Bloodthirster. Monrobo and and he's standing still. He's waiting for that package.
Yeah, and he's going to have teleport as well if he sees it necessary. But for now, he's just going to walk it out. Elder Dragon 13 seconds away. But it's Enclave with the priority right now. So a little bit favorable for them. But when you're talking about a package being present anyway, it kind of can negate some of the pressure that you create. That's a big rocket just by standing in the river. And you can see the Lucent, they're going to push up this wave. So Enclave have to maybe make a decision. But this far into the game, you don't really care about waves. You have to kind of wait and see who pulls trigger first. And I think if you're Enclave, you have to just try and, you know, weather the storm, weather out all this Corki poke, and hope that he doesn't find a good package angle.
We've seen the Orki combination come down with the Ornn and the Corki Ultim package getting dropped in these small chokeholds, and it makes life so hard. Wilhelm getting caught out. They do get into the knock-up. There's Monrobo onto that backline, trying to get the burst damage off as he has to flash back. The charm hits everybody!
Everyone!
Sykes might just have done anything he needed there. Trying to lock down to Sojin. Sojin gets a knock-up, but this is everybody else going low. The team fight is just so one-sided. Sykes made the hero play happen, and Lucent lose 3.
They lose 3, but they're the ones with the jungler still available on the map. So if he is able to get into the pit here, he still has flash available, and as long as Lil Pants can keep his the vision up, he's gonna go in. He's gonna steal it. If they
coming in,
down,
he's got the blast cone. He's coming over the wall.
He's got too early.
Long enough. He's got too early. Enclave secure the Elder. Little Pants has just peed his pants as he is running back to base, running to safety. Tries to get Impulse, but Impulse will blow him up. It's the ace for Enclave.
That's a fumble. I understand look, they lost the fight, sure, fine. But that is a fumble. You can keep Lil Pants in the bush there. No one was pressuring him out. They could have just kept vision, gone in. There's no smite available. The only person that was standing in front of that Baron that could have out-damaged the smite is Impulse on the Kai'Sa with a full plasma stack auto and a crit. Other than that, he would have just won the smite fight outright. So I'm a bit almost disappointed by that attempt. But we'll get the replay of the fight. And it's a bit of a drawn-out one. It's Enclave consistently conceding ground until Wilhelm kind of, in all honesty, just oversteps. Rightly says, okay, I guess I'll just combo you eventually. Gets the stun down. The center ultimate comes over the top. The cannon barrage on the backside is great, but look at this Encore. All 5 members hit by that. And because the Encore even means that the Ornn ultimate can't be hit back in response because the Ornn is also CC'd. And as soon as the Encore just was laid over, the fight was practically done from that moment on. Impulse and Info allowed to just kind of free hit during that time. There's no response available from Lucent. And I mean, okay, he was kind of being pressured out. I'll take that back. But it just seems so strange. You saw the last time that the Dragon was being hit. At least in my mind, I feel like you can be a little more patient. But that wasn't the case, unfortunately, for Lucent here in Enclave. They secured both the buffs. Now the Elder still got a little bit of time left to the point where Lucent still have to be a little bit respectful. The Baron, however, got a lot longer left on that duration, and there's only one tier 2 tower left. So if Enclave wants to, they can even rotate out to the top side here. They've got a wave, I think, pushing in, or at the very least is very close to the Lucent side of the map, and they can just use this to carry the siege on.
Yeah, looks like that's going to be the game plan for them. Like you said, they've still got a lot of time to work with as far as this Baron buff goes. I think the Elder is on them for just a little bit more. They still do have it for now.
Suggest, yeah, I think the Elder duration is 230.
I think so. It's falling off soon.
It's falling off soon because obviously we've lost our HUD timer. Has rightly ate a lot of damage, but also healed up a whole bunch.
They've still got it.
Yeah, still got it.
I think you can't fight a team with Baron and Elder. You just can't.
It's so impossible.
Elder's now gone. Yeah. They take themselves 2 inhibitors off the back of that. The resets are coming in. They're probably just going to move towards this bottom side of the map. Look to play the game by the book, really, which has been seen so many teams do as of late. It's just take every inhibitor and then close the game out.
Yeah.
Resets are coming in. Gold's going to get spent 4 items onto Impulse, 3 items on to Sykes. Screamon just finished up Hysterics as well. So 4, sorry, not Screamon, Info just finished up Hysterics. So 4 items onto him.
Yep.
This is hard for Lucent. They obviously have great scaling. They do have that to work with, but I just don't think they have what it takes right now. I think they're a little bit too far behind. I mean, Impulse level 15, Little Pants level 13. Little Pants only 2 items, thanks to the fact that he doesn't get quite as much gold from being the starving center. Obviously does have the ornament, so got the Wormfall and Sacrifice finished up for himself.
There you go. Shield bow also been upgraded.
I can't say the name of that one.
I can't remember the
I can't remember the name of that one.
Don't worry. Yeah, the siege gonna be carried on the bottom side here. The inhibs are slowly pushing in for Enclave, and this isn't like recently you've kind of seen a bit of a trend where early inhibitors have actually been recognized as being kind of bad to take. This game was so slow paced that the first inhibitors went down at post 30 minutes. So the pressure is actually there. These are like real inhibitors, as silly as it might sound for me to say out loud. So they're gonna have to slowly start responding, and as these waves just slowly stack more and more, they are gonna have to eventually probably yield this tower. But if they can hold with a lot of the ranged wave clear they have, could be a scenario where they're able to jockey for fights at the next Elder and Baron spawns.
Yeah, the Baron has worn off, and there is a fair amount of wave clear onto Lucent, but someone's going to have to go deal with that large wave stacking up in the top side. Thank you very much, Observer, showing that. There's also one just off the corner of the screen on the mid lane, so someone has to go deal with these waves, and Monrobo's the one to deal with it. He has got a fair amount of wave clear, but he can only do so much.
Yeah, the waves slightly out of sync here, so I think, Enclave there, I think they've actually kind of recognized. You can see they're not hitting the bottom lane wave. They're trying to give the other waves as much time to sync up for pressure as possible. I love this from Enclave. You don't see enough teams do stuff like this. But the wave kind of been thinned out a little bit already, and you can see the HP bars of the others a little low, but the super pressure is starting to mount up on the Nexus towers, and Lucent, they're finally giving up this bottom lane tower, and it's even an engage dive.
Yeah, they're just going all in, baby. The Call of the Forge God not going to bounce through, as now it might be a little bit of a turnaround coming in from Lucent, although the Cannon Barrage has done a good job to zone them off for now. Lucent not able to kill anyone. Impulse actually just jumps in forwards with that supercharge. Does a lot of damage to Sujin, and we'll be able to take this inhibitor down, as there's the knock-up, and there's the flash forward. The headbutt pole comes in, and Impulse holds his life. They take down the Cho'Gath. Big Sun's going to let them down for the moment. So they are looking to lock everybody out, but this is already the Cho'Gath down. The cow jumps forward. Impulse comes in. Can't quite finish off the kill, unfortunately. Killer Instinct now burst, and Monrobo teleported behind to find a shutdown, but he himself is going to be the victim of the Kai'Sa. Shut down by Screwmon. Impulse revives thanks to the GA, and now Lucent only have 3. Waves after wave is going to crash into their base. 48 seconds until Monrobo comes back to life, but it looks like Enclave are more interested in taking this dragon and doing this the safe way.
Yeah, I think honestly, given how long that siege took to actually close out, this is probably the right call. You can secure the Elder practically for free unless Lucent make it here in time, which quite realistically they could, to try and slow down this take. But where exactly is Wilhelm? Looks like he's at the back of that stack, so I think Enclave might just finish this one up, and it's going to turn into a fight. But if they've got Elder, Enclave should just outright win.
They've already got it as well. They get the headbutt pole back. Now Lucent are jumping in. They're throwing everything at these members. That's the shutdown onto the GP. Impulse bolting away. Screwmon bolting away. They somehow get a kill, but they've still lost Elder. They're going to barrel towards the Baron. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it in time. There's waves crashing into the base. The carries are going to have to go deal with that. Monrobo trying to do his best, trying to hold on here, but there's already a fight going to be breaking out by this river. Sykes has come through. He has the Encore. He's ready to throw it out. Just going to quickly drop a beat drop for the moment. Impulse comes over the wall. Sorry, Little Pax makes it over the wall. Got there in the end.
Yeah, Impulse and Rightly both coming out from the reset as well. And this Baron was just, it was so slow to start. Oh! Is she in the middle of Killer Instinct?
I don't know. Yes, it's on cooldown. Jamada's in the ether.
I'm an A. Hi, I'm back. If you couldn't tell, I obviously had some connectivity issues, hence why my camera wasn't on. But I think she's in the middle of a Killer Instinct. And
no,
that was
the
a lot of
ability's on
damage.
cooldown. So absolutely in the middle of that. So Impulse is launching into, I assume, Little Pax right now. Which could go good or bad. There's an exhaust on Excellent. There's a chomp on Excellent. We're coming out of the replay right now into the action. So producer, get ready to toggle this real quick. It froze frame for us at like the worst place. We need to bring this up. This is so close. This is so hypey. There we go. All right, we're back into the action. Impulse. I'm going to jump straight back into it. Goes for Little Pants, gets the knockdown, gets the takedown. There's the charm. They've already got a double kill onto Impulse. Make that a triple kill. Monrobo's being chased down. They're continuing to try and see if they can find the damage. Can they lock him down long enough? They're turning their attention towards Sujin. They're trying to see if Screwmon can do a little bit more. As Impulse will find himself a quadra kill. It's unofficial, though. It's a legendary kill for him. Monrobo, the only one standing. The teleports are coming into the base. It's in 4 inside. In the flank, the cannon barrage has been thrown down. Monrobo trying his best to hold this one, but he will get locked down. And Impulse is looking to tidy this one up with an unofficial pentakill. An ace for the side of Enclave, and the base to follow.
Yeah,
40-minute long game. It was an absolute brawl of a game. Lots of action, lots of deaths. But Enclave will take this game number 2 of the UKLC.
Yeah, even off the Rift, we had a lot of crazy stuff going on. And I mean, Impulse tying up the game with an unofficial penta. Very unfortunate that it doesn't actually show as a penta. Not sure what went on there because the kills really weren't that far apart from each other. But I mean, all things considered, I think Enclave did a really good job from what I could see of making it back from that objective deficit. I think winning that fight in front of the Elder Dragon was just the key pivotal moment. It doesn't matter if you secure every neutral objective except for the most important ones. And if during that duration, Enclave can effectively open up the game and make it so one-sided that Lucent always on the back foot, the first 20, 25 minutes of the game doesn't even matter.
I just want to say, while I was doing coloring while you were gone, I did say Elder Dragon was genuinely terrifying for both teams because it was on the map soon enough that both teams could deal with it. Got so right. Anyway, we're going to throw to a break. We had a lot of problems. We've got to get back on track. So we'll see you in a moment for our breakdown of that game. See you in a moment.
Remember, I shall see you.